24/7. My name is Neharika Valia Bhatnagar and I am with you with the area of ABFM. Good morning, everyone. Till now, we have done with a good part of um, the ABFM subject altogether, right? We are done with module A, B, as well as C, and we have just started with the module D. In terms of module D, we are done with the first chapter, that is, I'm sorry. The first chapter that we did was hybrid finance. Hybrid matlab you have debt, you have equity, you have two specific breeds there, and then you say, nah, let's make a customized situation where it is a mixture of both, है ना? Hybrid. Then we talk about startup finance. What do you mean by startups? The business which has just started, है ना? But what kind of business has just started, everyone? The business can be related to anything. They haven't specified what kind of businesses. And just started matlab, I just started my business 1 year back, 2 years back. Or when we specify this is actually the money that is related to not 1 year or 2 year. Rather, it is related to the business where we started the business, and I'm sorry, it is around 1 year, sorry, 10 years, maximum 10 years should have been passed when you start up your business. That is what you define in terms of startup. Okay? That's how you define the term startup finance. Done, everyone? When we talk about startup finance, these are the businesses which have been recently started, especially Make in India campaign and other campaigns have also been involved in this area where they are helping the businesses to grow further. Done? So, where do you arrange those funds? Is government helping you? Maybe. Is the guidance of government helping us? It can also be done. There can be angel investors. Indeed, there can be anybody who might be helping you. है ना? Done. So let's talk about the startup finance based questions. The angel investors can help you, and not only angel investors but even venture capitalists. We'll be talking about all these people in detail, who can help us, who are the organizations who will be helpful to us for this particular work. Because when you start up your business now, your business really helps a lot to grow. Okay, then let's study this detail further. Let's talk about this. What distinguishes startups from other businesses? Startup is, every business is at one point of time a startup. Nobody gets a business which is never started, isn't it? They have low startup expenses and incomes. You bet this doesn't happen. The income is never less or more. Okay? Next point is they have created by and they have been created by entrepreneurs seeking validate a scalable business uh, model. They intend to remain small and not grow beyond the solo founder. This sounds so pessimistic. And the last one is they do not seek funding from venture capitalists. You bet everybody looks forward towards growth. So if someone is putting up a little clauses and ready for helping you, then why not? है ना? So the correct answer is they have created by entrepreneurs seeking for to validate. Acha, everybody, people go to Shark Tank India. You've heard about Shark Tank? There, the startups which are absolutely new or had been there in the market in the last a few years, they had been working towards their growth and they wanted the growth. So what do? They reach out for the people to help them, right? Then everyone, So in this case, can we say this is absolutely normal for the business to reach out to other people and scalable? Scalable matlab you are trying to grow your business. They have a scalable business and they're trying to grow that part. Acha, what services does the Startup India Hub provide? Startup India Hub, this particular hub is responsible for what? This specific hub is responsible for the area of providing a shelter to the new organizations. It really provides them the area where they can grow further. Acha everyone, if you find these specific classes and specific MCQ classes and the content helpful na, please go ahead and like the session, and at the same time also share this particular session among your peers. Okay. And secondly, the sale is going on everyone. You can get up to 80% of discount. So hurry up and check it out right away so that you get the maximum benefit out of it. What say? Chaliye, now let's move on and talk about the next point. Startup India Hub provide financial assistance and incentives. Yeah, it really provides you the shelter. It's a kind of incubator. Industry, academia collaboration, simplification and coercion. Okay. Then last is various services and connections to the ecosystem, to ecosystem builders. It is actually D. You build up a particular area where you can actually help them. You're just not providing them financial connections. You're providing way more than that. Done. Easy, छोटा सा प्यारा सा question. चलिए. Then how does the DPIIT recognition process benefit entrepreneurs? DPIIT helps a lot of these organizations to help them entrepreneurs by requiring a letter of recommendation from incubator. Incubator is basically the one which protects you. है ना? Then comes the next part is by making the process offline or bureaucratic. This is very cumbersome. I don't think DPIT would be looking forward to this. By gathering and reviewing and granting certificates of recognition online within a short time, and by limiting the access to support programs. Matlab, if we talk about DPIIT and their working na, this is for the benefit of the entrepreneur. So technically, this is what they will try to do na. First can also be the point, but the C point stands more affirmative. Right? Done everyone? We all sorted? So in this case, we will gather the information, we'll grant the recognition only online. Basically, now this is what has happened in the entire industry. You would even find in terms of startups, now there is a specific area of benefits which is lined for innovation, especially in the area of technology. That is something the government has been really helpful towards. Acha, what category of startup action plan recommendations fall into? They are financial assistance and incentives. Are they providing industry, academia, collaboration and simplification and coercion? Taxation, employment, infrastructure, import, export regulations, labor laws and environmental policies, marketing strategies, product development and customer service. What's going to be the answer, everyone? What's going to be the answer, everyone? The correct answer is financial assistance. The first thing the organizations needs is financial assistance. Second is you look forward towards industry, academia, collaboration. You're providing academic as well as the collaboration which helps you to grow further. And the next part is simplification and coercion. You're going to make things simpler and you're going to push things further as well. Because this particular area doesn't work that simpler. Done? So let's move on and talk about the next question. Now comes the next pointer. The point says that which is one of the main challenges faced by the startups according okay, the main problem which startups faces sometimes when you start working na, the weirdest problem is how do you work. Matlab, if they need money, from where will they get money? If they need recognition, from where will they get the particular information as well? It is not as easy as if, as we talk about it, that we are looking forward towards it. Na? Whenever the organization start working, it is very difficult to even execute the basics because there are market giants which are sitting and they are way older than you. If they are way older than you, how will you grow? It's not that easy, isn't it? Excessive planning leading to inefficiency, lack of competition and demand in the market, cybersecurity risk outweighing other challenges or unrealistic expectations. There is no unrealistic expectations. So they are not even realistic because the point is they don't know anything. And this market is so unknown. There had been things which went out in the market so well that nobody knows about it. Done. Excessive planning and leading to inefficiency, lack of competition. No, this is not the point. One of the problems is unrealistic. अच्छा ठीक है. They are talking about the main thing cyber security. वैसे तो cyber security is also one of them. Which of the one is main challenge? ठीक है. We are talking about main challenges ना. Unrealistic expectations is one of the basic areas because ना they don't know how they'll go to the market, and sometimes there are organizations which have made a very huge amount in terms of their expectations, but it doesn't work that way. And that is one of the basic normal things that happen in an organization. ठीक है. So the correct answer is unrealistic expectation. Things will not work out for sure. Why is it important to offer a state to have startup policy? Because sometimes people cannot reach out to the market and they do the things to discourage the growth startups. Nahi, this is to encourage, to provide funding and support. This sounds better. To limit the number of startups operating within the state. Nahi, they want to encourage it. And the next part is to restrict the membership or mentorship. Nahi, the answer is B only. All other points are pessimistic, while there's only one point which is optimistic. Done. So let's move on to the next point. The next point says, what is the purpose of pitch presentation? पता है, once you go to the business, मतलब you go to someone and reach out कि नहीं, I want to start my business, and then you are trying to tell them कि देखिए, my business is like this, huh? So when we talk about pitch presentation, it's like you are putting, okay, I had a startup. I decided कि I will make organic food. Most of the organizations are doing that. I said I'll provide affordable food, and they say how will you provide it? I said I have better ways to work upon, and that is what they were looking forward to, and it's cool if we are looking at that way, you know. So if we were deciding to do it that way, how are we going to make things work? I'll have to show you my plan, that what is that I want to sell. Okay, let's try this out now. In the name, let's organic things are very common right now. When we talk about, I have got some products which are found in the native India, in the rural regions, and those rural regions you find all these good things, and then the point is you want to make it reach to the market. So I got that particular thing through the market, and I made sure that this particular thing reaches the international level as well. So what I did was I made things work in a proper manner. ठीक है. So what I did was I had a particular idea. My idea was कि I will show you my printed bed sheets. My bed sheets are made from a specific art which is found in the rural areas of a specific part of the country. Now the point is, you are sitting in USA. How will I show you that my product is extremely interesting and unique? I'll put up a presentation and a video for you and show the pictures to you as well. What kind of things are we providing? What is the quote that I am looking forward to? Till the time I don't put up things in front of you in the form of this pitch presentations, how will you work? है ना? To discourage potential investors from investing the business? No, to showcase the business. That this can be the point. You are trying to showcase your business. You are trying to tell other people that pata hai, this is my idea. To present a detailed business plan for the potential customers, to provide an overview of startup ecosystems in the state. The answer is to showcase yourself. You're trying to show that exactly where do you stand. है ना? Done, everyone? Now, let's move on to the next pointer. What is the objective of Startup India Yatra program? But not everybody can reach out in terms of their problems. They will have an extremely interesting point there where they wanted to grow. But the point is, what is government helping them out? There are people who are working in the rural areas and they have a very unique idea. And we have to tell them that their unique idea might work out. है ना? Now, the point is, what is the objective of Startup India Yatra? To promote startups in metropolitan India, there is no problem. To provide financial support to tier 1 country cities. Again, these are metropolitan or bigger organizations. And then is to identify and assist entrepreneurial talent in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Tier 2 and tier 3 can be a better point because you want to reach out to rural areas. है ना? You don't want to stay in the other area, you want to reach out to the rural area. Done? In this case, to support the startups with zero, nahi. Startup India Yatra was actually reach out to the areas of tier 2 and tier 3. You are getting into the typical rural areas where people are extremely having the potential and the products which are better than other areas and they just want ki theek hai na, let's just work upon these areas altogether. है ना? Now comes the next point. What activities are included in Startup India Yatra? Hosting business incubation and mentoring sessions in the metropolitan areas, conducting idea validation awareness workshops and pitching sessions during boot camps, offering financial support. Almost everything sounds better. But the last point is tier 1 cities. They don't work in the tier 1 cities that way. In the tier 1 cities, if they wanted to work, the tier 1 cities has a lot of exposure for the people already, and that's true even. In the lower areas, they don't have it. So metropolitan is out of it. So I would say A is also out. Technically, this is also out. Conducting idea validation or startup finance. It is going to be B. They conduct boot camps. Boot camps is what? You are arranging the camps where you come up with people and try to talk to them. कि अच्छा ठीक है, what is exactly you are doing and how you are working upon all those things. That's covered here in this area. Done? Okay, this is what is the exemption rule of GFR 2017 in the procurement bids? When you are putting up the procurement bids, how do you grow further? Everyone? Because obviously everybody wants to grow further. Exemption by submitting the business plan, exemption by submitting the earnest money, exemption from taxation for startups, or exemption by submitting past turnover. No. The point is only one. That is exemption by submitting the earnest money for bid securities. You're putting it up, then you won't have a problem there. Okay? So that's the answer. Then everybody, with the area of ABFM. What are we dealing with today? We are dealing with Module D, Startup Finance. We started dealing with the startup finance in the last class, right? So I'm going to continue further with startup finance. What do you mean by the term startup? Startup is an organization which has just started, and just matlab in the last 10 years it has just started. It was earlier a different definition, but now it is 10 years. Their working is absolutely new in the market and they are trying to improve themselves further. है ना? मतलब they are trying to put themselves as a specific organization with an identity in the market. And obviously, when they're trying to establish themselves in the market, they need some kind of motivation. How do they have that motivation, everyone? Where is the place where they're trying to grow? When they're trying to grow themselves, there are certain things that they will do. First of all, they will need money. They will need money. Income tax department has given exemptions to them in the first 10 years. The government has provided them finances for this as well. While when we talk about the area of recognition, there are different rewards given to them so that now they can actually keep on working. Recognition is the key. Na? If you recognize someone's work, whatever they are doing, they would love to continue that particular work for a longer period. This is a basic ideology of human being. If you recognize their hard work, then they will definitely do it for a longer period. Right? So here comes the first question. What is the main goal of MNRE? Startup Grand Challenge. It is to lower the carbon emissions or to promote the fossil fuels consumption or to increase energy dependence or none of the above, everyone. ठीक है? What's the answer? This is done to lower the carbon emissions. When you are trying to reduce the carbon emission, this is increasing the ultimate work of these organizations and this they are being recognized. है ना? Thank you so much. So move on. What is the focus of startup India single-use plastic international challenge? Achha, this is one of the things. The bigger or the more thicker the layer of the plastic is, it takes वैसे ही already it takes a lot of time to decompose plastic. It takes way more time for this kind of plastic. This plastic causes a lot of harm to the soil, even if it is dumped in the soil. So, and it is very hard to use this kind of plastic even. So they started saying that use a plastic which is single use. The plastic which is for the single use plastic now, in this case what they do is they are promoting single-use plastic. They are developing uh, small solutions to reduce single-use plastic or encourage plastic dumping. Actually, now the plastic is not supposed to be used only once. If it is recyclable, then that's the best thing to happen. Recyclable matlab you don't have to make more plastic. Whatever plastic is already circulated in the market, that same plastic is can be used for other purposes. For example, when we talk about milk pouches, if it is uncut, then the same pouches can be recycled. They can be cleaned up, they can be recycled and used again. Now, this kind of thing, is the focus of startup challenge. It doesn't want to promote single-use plastic. Single-use plastic matlab you can make more plastic. You will have to make more plastic for other uses. Encouraging plastic waste dumping? No. You are developing design solutions to reduce single use. है ना? What documents are required for registration under the single point registration scheme? PAN card, Aadhaar card, UAM, Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum, or EM Part 2, that is optional. And then we have passport and driving license. And then we have the birth certificate and educational certificates. When you're trying to register under single point registration scheme, then the answer is B. Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum or EM Part 2. Which organization is responsible for registering micro and small businesses under the single point registration scheme? Ministry of Finance, National Small Industries Corporation, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, or RBI? The one single point place where these are recorded. These are recorded at one specific place. That means they don't face any problem further in terms of the registration. They don't have to go to multi registrations for having different schemes. They will just get it once. The answer is NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation. They get themselves registered under NSIC. Their registration is complete, so their existence is registered at multiple areas altogether. You don't have to get yourself registered every now and then, है ना? And that is the basic reason that they prepare this. Okay, next point. What is the main objective of single point registration scheme, everyone? SPRS, to increase government purchase from large scale business, to facilitate registration of micro and small enterprises for the government procurement, and then to encourage foreign investment in Indian industries, or none of the above. What is the main objective of the single point registration program? This is, the government is not trying to have large scale purchases, of course. In this case, they are just trying to facilitate the registration of MSMEs, which is definitely very difficult. If you are registering under multiple schemes, then it will take a lot of time, and the recognition and everything else will take a lot of time again too, because registrations are definitely not easy, है ना? So the answer in this case would be B. What is the primary focus of Startup India with regard to women entrepreneurs? Implementing new tax laws, launching new programs, and forming networks, providing subsidies for female-owned businesses, or encouraging male-dominated business. See, the last one is definitely out. When it comes to women entrepreneurs, they have actually started providing a lot of finances and subsidies to the women entrepreneurs so that they can actually develop themselves. Okay? They want that women entrepreneurs should also be getting a good work. The women entrepreneurs should also be getting guidance. They need subsidies for everybody needs subsidies for the business. There is no point where nobody needs a particular guidance for their businesses. Everybody needs it, because if you want your business to grow, then how can you make it grow without any aids? I know. In this case, you need finances, and the finances can be given by reducing prices for you, by giving you subsidies. This is basically providing subsidies for female owned businesses. Actually, they are also helping in terms of finances as well, and they're also helping the women entrepreneurs to grow by uplifting their skills as well. All these things are being done so that women can be independent, launching new programs and forming networks. What amendment was made to Section 80 IAC of the Income Tax Act? This is basically 80 IAC is related to the area of Income Tax Department, where we talk about reduction in the eligible startup turnover criteria, increase in the eligible startup turnover criteria, removal of deductions from eligible startups, and introduction of new taxes for eligible startups. What's gonna be the answer? 80 IAC of income tax is basically helping the eligible startups to eligible startup increase turnover criteria. They have increased the turnover criteria so that these organizations, more of the startups can grow further. Because leaving the startups in such a situation where the startups are not able to grow at all, that's wrong now. You need them a space to grow, right? If these startups are getting aids, if they are being recognized for their work, then this will not only help them to get the required assistance and funds from the market, but this will also help them to grow further as well. Under Section 54GB, what conditions must be met to be exempt from paying of income tax of on capital gains, everyone? Acha, 54GB, investing a net consideration in the government bonds. Government bonds is not this. Government bonds is 54F, I believe. No, 54EC. Rural electrification bonds, and there are certain bonds where you invest, and this is up to 50 lakhs in the financial year in which we have purchased it. Utilizing the amount of subscription and equity shares of an eligible startup, utilizing the amount of personal expenses, and no conditions need to be met. What's going to be the answer? The answer is utilizing the amount of subscription for utilizing the amount for subscription of in equity shares for eligible setup. Acha, I remember it. There's a particular way of learning it. It depends upon you how do you want to learn it, but this is how I learned it. If you understand Hindi even a bit, what I did was 54GB is घर बेचकर बिजनेस शुरू करना. घर मतलब the house there. So this is घर sold and business started. ठीक है ना? घर means your house. So you sell your house or any other specific property when you want to start your business. You might be selling your jewelry, you might be selling your property, you might be selling any of these things so that you can actually start making more money from your business. What condition allows the carrying forward to business losses in the case of qualifying startups, everyone? Majority stakeholders must remain unchanged. Then majority stakeholders must sell their shares. And no conditions applying for carrying forward losses or minority stakeholders? What's going to be the answer, everyone? No conditions applying for carrying forward the losses. And then we have minority stakeholders must take over. The answer is majority stakeholders must remain unchanged. If the majority stakeholders are gone, then if the majority stakeholders are gone, then we can do nothing. No? The organization doesn't remain the same, right? Because if the majority shareholders are gone, then things definitely changed a lot. Next is what modification was made to the company's acceptance of deposits rules 2014 by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Increased maximum deposit limits for the private companies. Then we have exclusion of convertible notes from the definition of deposits for the startup companies. And then we have mandatory deposits requirement for all the private companies, or none of the above. The correct answer in this area is exclusion of convertible notes from the deposits in the startup companies, right? Done, everyone? Exclusion of convertible notes from definition of deposits for the startup companies. What is the objective of Startup Seed India Fund? Seed Fund Scheme. To provide funding for well-developed businesses, to assist new businesses in establishing proof of concept and developing prototypes, to provide loans to startups for commercial banks, and to encourage startups to seek funding from investors. Startup Seed India Fund is basically when you treat the organizations like a seed. Seed matlab, it starts from this particular point. This is where they are starting, they need some finances, they want to grow further. So these are Seed India funds. है ना? Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. When we talk about this specific scheme altogether, this specific fund is related to the area of to assist a new business in establishing, thank you, proof of concept and developing prototypes. They are basically doing prototypes. Prototypes matlab, prototypes basically means you create the mini versions of the main thing so that people can actually invest in it. Now, what does it mean that people see? People should be able to see if I want to invest in your organization. I would like to see what is your exact product. That is what we cover in this area. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Actually, it's afternoon going on. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Bhatia, and I am with you with the area of ABFM. I hope I'm audible as well as visible, everyone. Okay, everyone, what are we doing today? When we talk about the topics that we're going to pick today, it is Startup finance, wait, start with the module D. Technically, we have almost ended the entire series with all the topics all together. Chapter wise, we are done with it. So, what are we going to deal with today? These are the few questions regarding startup finance. Startups are those organizations which are having the benefit of their work. They have their own set of struggle, but the government has been really helpful towards them as well. So technically, we can say that these are those people who get the help from the market itself. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, everyone. Acha, first of all, if you're there in the class, please go ahead and like the session. Secondly, if you're there in the class, please go to the entire playlist as well. This is almost the end of the particular modules. We are done with three modules already, and in the last module we are currently at the second chapter. Okay, so all I can say is this particular series will be helpful at the time of your final preparation, right? Okay, what are some of the important industries contributing to India's economic growth? Agriculture and textile, automobile, manufacturing and construction, information technology and services, software development, telecommunications, etc. And then is mining and natural resources extraction. Indian economic growth is see, agri is where we had been for so long. So, agri and textile is the one which is right now under stagnation. No doubt we have made a lot of development in the agriculture and textile, but still, this particular area is not something which we can expect more growth. It has reached its saturation. Automobile manufacturing and construction, India is still way behind, and as compared to many other developed and developing countries. When we talk about China being one of our neighbors, they are very good in this. German, they are very good in automobile industry. So there are already certain organizations which are better than India in this field only, right? Tata has recently done a lot, but I would say still the economic growth industries are not these. Then mining and natural resource extraction, we have enough to only feed our country. The resources and all, they're more or less required for our country more. So mining and natural resources are normally used in our country itself. So information technology and services, this is where we are reaching out to the international areas, along with software development and telecommunication. So the correct answer is C, everyone. Got the answer? Okay. So now moving on to the next question. What are some common practices foreign investors bring to India? What do they bring to India, everyone? Relaxed due diligence and contracting procedures, limited involvement in post financing activities, focus on long term investment without concern for timely exits, rigorous due diligence, stringent contracting, active post financing involvement, and timely exits. What are the common practices foreign investors bring in India? Foreign investors play a very important role in India, Vata. They made what we are today. They play a very important role. Why? Because when the foreign investors come into India, they are looking forward towards making money through India. And even Indians are thinking about the forex coming into India would bring more money for us. You know, that's one of the basic things every organization or any country which opens itself for the world, they would be looking forward to. So in this case, it's not relaxed due diligence. You are going to make sure that if you are spending more money, it is worth it. Limited involvement in post financing activities, no. After the financing, I think we have to be more diligent because you have to make sure that your finances which are being given are utilized properly. So that's won't be the point again. Focus on long term investment without concern for timely exits. We have to provide them a place to live. For example, Chevrolet left India. Not only Chevrolet, I think Ford has also almost left India. There are other organizations which are planning to leave India. Automobile industry has got itself a hit even there. So all these things are happening. We cannot ask any organization to stay for a longer period if they are facing a lot of losses. So we have to do the rigorous due diligence because outsiders are coming. We have to keep our eyes and ears open. Stringent contracting, the contracts should definitely be stringent because that will make sure that there are no faults from the foreigners. And active post financing involvement. After financing, the involvement should be limited. And then we have the timely exits. Timely exits matlab the person is leaving before time, or if they want to leave at any point of time, there are no restrictions adding on to their workforce. So the answer is D. Next question, why do venture capitalists, good afternoon Suresh sir, why do venture capitalists fill the gap left by the traditional banks in financing new businesses? Actually, no, the problem is in the traditional businesses. Traditional banks normally have one problem. They will always ask for collateral. Okay. And I'm sorry, they're providing loans. Are they providing the guidance? No. They're helping them in terms of finances, but they cannot provide them guidance. That's one of the true facts about them as well. So bank require tangible assets as collateral for loans which many new businesses lack. Yeah, because they now look forward towards equity. Venture capitalists charge lower interest rate compared to banks. That's not the point. They actually take a part of the equity itself. Then banks prioritize financing for businesses with significant prior expertise. And then is venture capitalists only invest in the businesses with established assets. वैसे when we talk about venture capitalists, the difference between the two is the first one only. Banks require tangible assets as collateral. मतलब they're always asking for a security. But the venture capitalists are very cool. They will say if your business grows, one part of it is mine. And later on, what happens is if the business grows extraordinarily, then the venture capitalist will take over the organization. The co-founders are gone. And that's how the venture capitalist becomes the owner. So technically, yeah, this is what they will do. That is why they're not asking कि ठीक है ना provide us some collateral or something. They're like नहीं नहीं नहीं, I want to be a part of your organization. I will guide you how to work. So that's one thing. They normally exit even ऐसा नहीं है कि they stay for a longer period or they decide to take over every organization. But yes, if there's any extraordinary successful organization, it has to keep itself safe from these VCs. What distinguishes the venture capitalist from the traditional banking in terms of the support provided to the business? First was related to the area of the loans and the finances. Now we're talking about the traditional banking in this case. How these two things are going different. Venture capital offers strategic guidance in addition to financial banking. Financial backing, nahi, banking hi aayega. Then is traditional banks offer high rate risk investment opportunities. No. Venture capitalists focus solely on providing financial. So traditional banks prioritize long-term partnerships with the business. How are these two very different? These two are different on the basis of A. Venture capital offers strategic guidance in addition to financial backing. Matlab, this is financial backing only. They are helping in terms of they are providing them money, but they are also raising them. That is how they are totally different from the banks. Banks will provide them a loan and then bank will move away. That's the work of the bank. But the venture capitalist will still be there and will be guiding you. That's why once he has been involved too much into an organization, then he would like to stay in that organization. Okay? What are some key characteristics of venture in capital investment? Minimal financial burden on the aided company and long-term partnerships with venture capitalists, then high risk of a high level of risk tolerance, active interest in leading the company, and exit strategy within 3 to 7 years, strict terms and conditions, substantial financial burdens on the aided company and no exit strategy, limited involvement in the aided company operations, and passive investment approach. You really don't do that. You have to be active. You cannot say this. But yeah, you will have an active interest, but you will decide that after this particular period of time, I'm not going to stay in this organization. You are not supposed to stay. These are just helping hands. They will make their money, and once they make their money, they will sell away their equity part as well, or they will not be actively involved in the organization. So the answer is B. They have a high level of risk tolerance. They have active interest in leading the company, and they exit strategies within 3 to 7 years. Then they will be building up another organization in a better way. Then everyone, moving on to the next pointer. What are shared characteristics between private equity and venture capital? पता है what do you mean by private equity? Private equity is basically related to the area of one particular person to whom we choose ki we are I want to give you the shares of my company. I know you personally, so I want you to be a part of it. While when we talk about venture capitalist is basically a random person who has, he's not actually totally random even. This person has done a good homework of our organization. We have done a good homework of their organization, and we are seeking funds from them. So when we are looking forward towards seeking funds from them, that will be included in this area. ठीक है? So in this case, limited autonomy and reliance on the public funding and passive management, active oversight of invested enterprises, significant financial incentives for managers, and establishment as autonomous pools of capital. Okay, both of these areas, be it private equity or venture capital, that's one of the organization's ways to raise money. Restrictions on activities, the lack of investment agreements, or and reliance on the general public, or passive involvement in invested enterprises, and absence of financial incentive for managers. The difference between what are the shares that is shared between the two? When we talk about these two, na, they have a few things in common. Both are ways of generating money for the organization. But what they do is they have an active oversight of investment enterprises. Both of these are not going to overturn their investments in a day or two. It will take time. So that's why they always have an oversight of investor activities. Then significant financial incentives for the managers would be there, and establishment as autonomous pools of capital. Then everyone, what's the answer to this? The answer is actually B. Now, how are these two different? That was their common point. How are these two different? Private equity investments primarily focus on equal early stage business, and then primary equity only prioritizes the long term partnerships with the business, or private equity investment may involve restructuring financial operations or planning around planning. Private equity investors typically provide the minimal financial support to the aided companies. They don't really do this. Once you deal with the money, then you have to find a way. You know? The answer in this case would be private equity investment may involve more restructuring. The restructuring part of the private equity is way too much as compared to others. That's one particular part which is definitely there. What is the purpose of screening process or in venture financing, you decide to give money to an organization. You won't go through the particular details of the organization. You will know. One of the screening processes you will find at Shark Tank India. Before they come in front of the sharks, their businesses are basically studied by the people who are working with the production. Then their screening is done. Then the particular persons who can go and stand in front of the camera would be chosen. You know, the ones who really have the specific, I would say, the caliber to finalize the deal negotiations, to establish a business relationship with the entrepreneurs, to evaluate and categorize potential ventures of investment or formulate the exit plan. You can't think of the exit plan. When you're looking forward to screening processes, you have to look into the investment in a proper manner. You have to look into the investment, whether it was worth it or whether I should go for it even or not. Isn't it, everyone? Investments cannot be something that you and I can say, oops, I made a mistake. कोई बात नहीं चलता है. We would be under a very big trouble if we make a very big mistake. Isn't it, everyone? That's one of the basic things anybody can face. Now comes the what is the primary goal of negotiation process in venture capital financing? To secure maximum profits in venture capital, to establish a win-win situation for both the parties, to ensure complete control of the entrepreneur, or to minimize the investment amount required. The venture capital is always looking forward towards that organization to grow further. So technically, he's looking forward towards a win-win situation for both the parties. Matlab both the entrepreneur as well as the uh, venture capitalist. See, if the organization makes money, then both of these would be having their own set of incomes as well. So technically, this thing will be definitely more helpful than anything else. You know? Done. Now let's move on to the next question, please. What role does the venture capitalist typically play after finalizing the investment? Hands-on involvement in day-to-day activity operations. Then we have limited involvement, only intervening in case of potential financial loss, full control over the company's operations, or sole decision-making authority to regard business strategies. What's gonna be the answer, everyone? When we talk about the venture capitalist, in this case, the answer is going to be limited involvement. You will not have unlimited involvement and only intervening in terms of potential and financial losses. They have their working defined. But yes, do they provide strategic information? They do. They provide them the money. They look forward towards the overall growth of the organization, but they can just give suggestions. Done, everyone. So in this case, the correct answer is limited involvement is required, only the intervening in case of the financial loss. When there's a loss, I will come up or you can come up to me. Depending upon that particular situation, they make this. Take care. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar, and I'm with you with the era of ABFM. I hope I'm audible. All sorted. Let's begin with the class. Acha, before I proceed further, na, please go ahead and share this session among your peers and like it as well. Acha, we were talking about the topic of private equity and venture capital, right? When we talk about the private equity and venture capital, we talked about private equity. Private equity matlab if one particular organization is putting uh, if there's a company A and I want Mr. So and so, let's take Mr. X to be a part of this organization. This is a public organization. So I asked him to have a specific amount of uh, shares. So that is what we call private equity. The equity which is given privately to someone. Sometimes when we are trying to grow further, we face a little problem. The problem that we face is that we want to grow further, and to grow further, we need venture capital. When we talk about the term venture capital is basically the venture capitalists are certain people who provides the finances to these organizations. And when they provide this amount, okay, what happens is when we provide the finances to the other party, then we ask them for a share of equity. The venture capitalist remains in that organization for a certain period of time, say 5 years to 7 years, right? If they stay for this particular period, after this, if they feel the organization is going good, they can leave, then they leave. They also provide guidance, not only equity, but they also provide funding. They provide both things. Okay. So when we talk about this topic, then this is how we define the entire area of venture capital and private equity. Okay, so why does these people exist, everyone? Why do these people exist? Any ideas about it? These people exist, or the venture capitalists I'm sorry, exist because the banks offer more favorable terms for new business nahi, due to abundance of tangible assets in the information to fill the gap left between the bank's reluctance to finance high risk ventures, because venture capitalists have more expertise than traditional institutions. ऐसा नहीं है कि they have more expertise or something. They don't have that expertise or something like that, but they have something which others don't. These organizations are filling the gaps left by the bank's reluctance to finance high risk ventures. There are many unconventional methods which have come up in the market from the last few years, and they are growing and thriving. Unconventional businesses, for example, starting from different beauty products which came into the light, and then slowly the therapies which started, and then the imported cosmetics, or we can say now there are wearing apparels and accessories of Korea, which has gained a lot of importance in the last few years. Along with that, I think I can add up towards the area of baby carriers, to the new and unconventional cars which have started. So there are so many things where the organizations are getting into, but the banks were obviously reluctant earlier. Ki why do we have to put money? They were like, these are unconventional businesses. If they don't grow, why should we help them? That's one particular psychology of any person. They don't want that this should happen. Acha, first of all, everyone, I hope you know our sale has okay, just a moment. First of all, today at 6:30 p.m. kindly be there for English medium. We'll be talking about a specific thing that we are coming up for you. Along with this, we have something special for you on our website as well. So apologies, I'm interrupting you in between so that I can actually give you a view of what you might be missing. Acha, everyone, as such, if I talk about the syllabus, even we're just about to get over with the syllabus as well. It will take hardly a few couple of weeks rather. Abhi to, since we are on the last, since this is the last one, probably within the upcoming week we'll be able to finish off all the chapters once, and then nope, we are not stopping here. I'll be coming up with new courses, new series where we'll be talking about all these chapters in a different way. Acha. Now comes the specific area which I wanted to discuss, that is, do you know the sale has just started? And this sale has not only started, but this is one of the biggest sales that you can look forward to. Why do I say this? Simple reason. Let me show you. Go to our website, go to the area of www.adda247.com, go on to the area of CIB Mahapack 2.0. In this case, you are getting English medium, bilingual, ebooks, test series, the revision classes. Along with this, you will also get your optional subjects included in it. Matlab, you won't miss out even a single um, optional subject there. All the options are covered. You can see whatever you want to choose. You just have to open this up and then use the code Y541. As soon as you apply the code Y541, you will be able to get 81% discount if you're downloading the app. 6,500 and rather 1% more discount would be available to you, and that too available for the entire year. Think about it, everyone. This means roughly 500 rupees per month, 500 something, less than the 4 screen Netflix as well. This is the amount that we might spend on the basic things in our monthly basis. So if you're planning to get it, then hurry up, because the Mahapack is available at a very good amount and at the same time with double validity. So please go ahead and check it out on our website and our app for further details, and do not miss out on the opportunity. Chaliye. Now moving on to the specific topic. What were we dealing with, everyone? We were dealing with the topic of venture capital and private equity. Back to the topic. First of all, we talked about this topic. Now coming up, what is the primary reason banks hesitate to lend newly established companies? Lack of interest in funding, requirement of substantial collateral, then high interest rates or limited fund available for lending. When we talk about the primary reason behind banks hesitate to lend to newly established business, banks hesitate to help these newly established business because they feel that there is a lot of risk involved. So one particular reason is this, and the point is they do not have substantial collateral as well. They are startups, they don't have anything to start with, so they do not have a strong portion where they can say ki, acha nahi, if we won't be able to pay, then this is the alternative that we are providing you, we will provide this or we will provide that. Now that part is something which they have clearly said. Done. So that's why regarding the collateral, the banks are always particular about it, and when they are, we should look forward to it, isn't it? Now, moving on to the next point, what distinguishes venture capital from traditional bank financing? Venture capital from traditional banking is very safe, and well, it is comparatively safe. I won't say it is very safe because even they face NPAs and all. They are also not very sorted in terms of the credit worthiness, in terms of the people who are being credit worthy or not. They face issues as well. ठीक है ना? So in this case, venture capital provides only financial backing. No, they don't provide only financial banking. Then venture capital offers strategic good guidance. In the addition to the finance, venture capital imposes stricter terms and conditions, and venture capital is solely focused on the tangible assets. They are not focused on tangibles. They are never worried about tangible or intangible. Venture capital is always looking into the fact that acha, that's a unique company which is making their money through a certain manner. If they are making their money through a certain manner, then obviously they would want that this money doesn't go anywhere. They should get this money, and at the same time, when you provide funding to an organization, these organizations also help the organization to grow further as well. So venture capital offers strategic guidance in addition to funding. That's one thing that they do. What is the characteristic of venture capital investments? according, acha, minimal involvement of venture capitalists in a company. No, they have good involvement. Limited risk of tolerance among the venture capitalists. No, they are actually risk takers of the market. Then heavy financial burden on the aided company in the early years or active interest by the venture capitalists leading the company. The venture capitalist is always asking, Hanji, you as a company reaching now, how's the project going on? What are we doing? All those things they literally ask. So that's one particular reality. They take active interest. Okay? Because their money is on stake, and that at the same time now they are equity shareholder as well. That means they also have a part in the organization na? Next point, which of the following is a shared characteristic of private equity and venture capital? Strong emphasis on public fundraising, limited autonomy in the managing capital, or investment primarily in established business, or significant financial incentives for fund managers. The correct answer is investment primarily in the businesses which are already established. Both private equity and venture capitalists, they would see a startup which is already doing good. They will help the established organizations to expand further. Matlab, the one who is already in the business and the business is going successful, they are helping those businesses to grow further. Done. What distinguishes the private equity from the venture? Achha, we have just done this part now. Private equity investments have minimal financial burden on the aided company. This is different. Private equity focuses on business unable to raise the funds. Private equity is not for these type of organizations. Private equity deals rarely in corporate debt. And last is private equity investors prioritize corporate governance over management capability. What's the answer in this case? You're helping some other organization and you see them work. So in this case, the right answer is private equity investors prioritize corporate governance over the management capability. What is the characteristic shared by both private equity and venture capital? Limited involvement of fund managers in overseeing the invested enterprises, high level of risk tolerance, engagement in active oversight of the investment enterprises, or restrictions placed on the activities they are engaged in. What's going to be the answer, everyone? You can talk about the characteristics of both. They are all working towards this area. They're all looking forward towards growth, isn't it? These organizations have this specialty overall. So both of them are invested, oversight of invested capital. They are always looking at, they're putting money to some other organization. You'll always be worried about that organization in which you're putting your money. That's a rule of the market. Without this, how can we survive? Indeed, this is the main point which we are always worried about. So, what is cited as the drawback of financing through venture capital? Venture capitalists are basically the people who can grow a lot in the timing there. If they grow, if the organization grows very well, then the venture capitalist would be interested ki, "Arey, I want this organization." Then they try to grab the organization. They try to take over the organization because that's one of the best ways for them to work upon. So in this case, quick and easy procedure, minimal risk involved. Nahi. The drawback is not these things. Loss of independence and control of the founder, immediate return of earnings. This reminds me of Infosys. This reminds me of Steve Jobs. These organizations were once actually thrown these organizations actually threw away the promoters of those organizations. They were the one who were the founders, and later on they were removed. And later on, when the companies couldn't hold themselves, they both were brought back into the organization. So this is drawback of financing through venture capital. Venture capitalists actually they lose their interest and control. ठीक है? Done? Loss of independence and control for the founder. Why does venture capital financing often lead to delayed returns or earnings? Because investment are made with short-term objectives due to uncertainty of potential returns, because venture capitalists prioritize quick profits, or because founders retain full control of the business. When they nahi, the problem arises because na due to the uncertainty of the potential returns, because you don't know what is your saturation, where can you go further. The growth is something that you realize once you start doing now. The growth, the tenure in which you can do things, that particular capacity to grow further will not come in this way. It will take a lot of efforts and things that gives clarity to us कि nahi, we can grow, isn't it everyone? So in this case, let's move on to the next point. The next point is, what is the primary responsibility of analysts at venture capital firms? Making investment decisions, attending conferences and seeking business opportunities, and managing the relationship within the clients and overseeing the decision making process. When we talk about the analysts are responsible for finding the various business opportunities. They would be looking forward to that. So basically, they are attending the conferences and they are trying to seek a business opportunity where they can grow further. Because the growth is extremely important for them. Na? If they don't find a specific way to grow further, how will they survive in the market? Isn't it, everyone? What distinguishes associate from analyst at venture capitalist? Associates participate in decision making process. Analysts have more experience in the relationship building. Associates primarily focus on attending the conference, or analysts are responsible for creating investments. If we look about the investment now, see, these people are responsible for analysts analyze the opportunities which are coming up for them, while when we talk about the associates are basically the ones which are participating in the decision making process. Analysis is done by the analysts. They will analyze the thing, they will try to find out that there is no problem in it, you know, and yet the problem is still there. So what we do is the the associates and the ultimate area of the uh, analyst will check the work, and associate will participate in the decision making process, right? Chaliye then, that's it for the day. Before I end my session, let me show you our website again, everyone. Acha, first of all, let's show you the answer even now. The answer to this question is associate participation in decision making. They participate in decision making. Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Upsala 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar and I'm with you with the area of ABFM. We started with the topic of AI, yani artificial intelligence. Before we proceed further, everyone, uh, please go ahead and like this particular session and subscribe to our channel. Along with this, just a request, when you're preparing for this examination, please go through the previous videos as well, where I've covered the entire syllabus. We're currently on module D, and we are done with module A, module B, and module C as well. So currently even I am on module D. The first three chapters are already done, so you can see that we are almost done with, out of 25 chapters, we are left with 3-4 more chapters and we'll be done. So with this particular class, please also review the previous classes for your better preparation. Done, everyone? Now let's move on and look at the particular area of AI. Okay, what does the term HIS stand for? Hybrid Intelligent System, a Hybrid Information System, Hyperactive Intelligence System, or Hierarchical Intelligence System? What's the answer, everyone? What's the answer? We're talking about HIS. See, when we talk about HIS, one part is there, it is hybrid. Hybrid matlab, it is one particular technique, the second particular technique, taking the pros of both the areas and building a new one. That is also called hybrid information system. It is called HIS. What is a hybrid information system? Primarily composed of traditional programming languages, various artificial intelligence methodologies and techniques, and hardware components only, or data storage systems. What do you mean by the term HIS, everyone? Hybrid information system is a system which is related to the area of information to be provided as early as possible in the best possible way, and is kept in an organized manner as well. So when we talk about this system, it is basically various artificial intelligence methodologies and techniques. That's the correct answer. How does artificial intelligence impact the intellectual endeavors? Okay. Overall, na artificial intelligence is based upon what we are giving it to us. Matlab we are what we are giving exactly, because we serve the AI, na. That's how AI gets all the information from. The EQ, IQ, whatever it is building up right now is because of humans. So, how does this AI impact the intellectual endeavors? By limiting creativity and innovation, by focusing only on specific tasks, or by offering universal applicability and becoming a realm for any intellectual endeavor, or by excluding certain fields from its scope? Actually, na, because of this, we have developed some sort of dependability towards the AI. So when we have a dependability towards AI, we aren't understanding that with the intellectual reign that they are following, the other innovative part of a human being is getting limited, isn't it? So by offering the universal applicability and becoming a realm of the intellectual behavior, it is now impacting the intellectual endeavors. It provides a lot of information already. It covers all the different nooks and corners, which makes the working overall broader in terms of work altogether. Done. What is an ontology in context of the knowledge representation, everyone? What is an ontology in context of knowledge representation, everyone? A set of objectives and relations used to interpret software agents, or a description of what exists in the real world, or a formal logic used to represent the semantics of the ontology, or all of the above. But the knowledge representation has to be done in a very clear manner. Taken, because if that is clear, the knowledge representation portion, then the clarity of the working becomes more and more clear, as well as more organized. So when we talk about the ontology in context of knowledge representation, I would say the it is basically a description of what the real world isn't exactly about. So the correct answer is B. Okay? Knowledge representation is showing you what exists in the real world. What is one of the most challenging problems in representing common sense knowledge in AI, everyone? Lack of formal logic to represent semantics, over reliance on step by step deduction, or sub symbolic nature and vastness of the common sense knowledge, inability to deal with uncertain or partial information. What's the answer? वैसे तो when we talk about the common sense knowledge in AI ना, see, common sense is one of the specific things which we believe is there with everyone. But the problem is the vastness of common sense knowledge. A few people might feel that this is very common, but other people might say, nahi, this is not very common. This particular thing is known only to only a specific set of people. So when we have this kind of differences, you don't even know what exactly is common and what is uncommon, isn't it? So this sub-symbolic nature and vastness of common sense knowledge, due to which we are unclear about the fact whether it is all clear or it has something which makes it all unclear. The answer is C. What does the planning involve for intelligent agent? Creating a representation of the current state of the world, making predictions about how actions will change the environment, maximizing utility of available options, or all of the above, everyone. What's the correct answer? What does the specific planning involve for an intelligent agent? What does an intelligent agent exactly do? They're involved in creating a representation, they're making predictions about how the actions will change the environment, and even maximizing the utility of the options. It does all of these things together. So answer is actually D, everyone. Then now let's move on. The answer is all of the above. Let's talk about the next question. What is reinforcement learning in machine? Everybody? What is reinforcement learning? Learning from a continuous stream of data, learning from within human supervision, by rewarding for appropriate responses and disciplined for inappropriate ones, and uh, transferring skills, learn from one problem to solve the other problem. Reinforcement learning. Whenever you are doing something, and if I say keep it up, what will you do then? You will feel motivated that probably this is what I was supposed to do and I should be doing. So you start doing that work. If I ask you that no, you should not be doing it, I maybe yelled at you. So what will you feel? Well, let's talk about the kids now, everyone. They are the ones which are who are actually reinforced. We talk to the kids, we tell them what is right and what is wrong, and we tend to develop their specific type of behavior. So reinforcement is basically being rewarded for the appropriate responsibilities and disciplined for the inappropriate ones. They are basically editing the overall behavior of a person. So the right answer is C, everyone. Done. Now, what is the compliant motion in robotics? Moving robots while avoiding physical contacts with the particular robots altogether, with objects, or moving robots while retaining physical touch with objects, and then planning movements based on previous experiences, or none of the above. Compliant motion, everyone. What would be the answer? The compliant motion is basically moving the robots while retaining. Compliant means we are still complying with something. And in this case, it's the physical touch with the objects. Matlab they are in the same lines with those particular objects itself. है ना? Right? What's going to be the answer? What's going to be the answer, everyone? Compliant motion. The moving the robots while retaining the physical touch with objects. They are called the compliant motion in robotics. You are following that particular part altogether. ठीक है? Done, everybody? Now moving on to the next point. Which tool is a general tool used for reasoning, learning, planning, and perception in AI? Markov decision processes, Bayesian networks, dynamic decisions, or game theory? Game theory is actually a part of something else. Everybody? What's going to be the answer? Markov decision making processes. Or the actual answer is Bayesian. Bayesian networks is a part of probability. Dynamic decision making is basically it keeps on changing every now and then. Game theory is a part of probability. Even Bayesian is also a part of probability based theorem. That is a part of it. So we have Bayesian networks based upon what will happen here and what will happen there. Done. So let's look forward towards the next question. What change was made by the Google duplex to address the controversy? पता है Google duplex was basically used to do the call recordings, मतलब to book a particular table on behalf of me. If I obviously it becomes very difficult to especially book a table or something, so it was hired for this purpose, and it used to talk just like human to that extent that it was so clear It used to take pauses just like humans in terms of the calls that okay, these kind of words they used to use. And Google Duplex was really prepared in a very good manner. But once this particular thing they had, what was the controversy? Now, when Google is recording all these things, your private information or private conversations are also being recorded, which is something which was beyond the privacy norms and the laws of the land as well. So technically, due to this reason, they said कि if you are doing any kind of recording, the Google, it was made available worldwide. This is not a controversy. It was discontinued. No, it wasn't. The Google Assistant must identify itself and warn call recipients about the recording. मतलब they have to tell this about the recordings in terms of the person कि sir this is the particular thing which is happening. ठीक है? So in this case, the Google Assistant must identify. It just has to tell people about it. Now let's move on to what's the next point. The answer is Google Assistant must identify itself and warn call recipients about the recording. Next point, which is one of the most prevalent use cases for AI in banking and finance, predicting lottery numbers, detecting patterns and correlations within the data, analyzing the weather patterns, or assessing the customer satisfaction. वैसे AI does all these things. So what's going to be the answer? Basically, one of the strongest things that AI is good in terms of banking and finance, na predicting lottery numbers is not the point. They have specific models, but that is not something which I can say this is a part of AI. Nah. Detecting the patterns and correlations hidden within the data. That is true. You have a specific data and you have a specific method of representing the data. This is covered under this specific scenario, right? Detecting the patterns and correlations hidden in the data. In the area of finance, this is what it does, na? You note down the data, you note down the patterns of the data, and that's how you continue to know about it. Which of the following tasks can chatbots efficiently handle in banking service? Completing complex financial transactions or checking account balances or providing in-person assistance at branches or none of the above. Chatbots are good whenever you open a specific organization's account. Do you see that in the on their official website they have something called look at this particular scenario there, you know, hi, I'm there to help you, and all those things really happen in this case, na? In this case, what happens is completing complex financial transactions, checking account balances, and next is providing in-person assistance. What does it do, everyone? What does it do? Simply it does only one thing. The point is checking account balances. I can check my account balance at any point of time. There are multiple other things as well, but this is one particular thing that happens. Done. What is the most prevalent use of cases of actually we are done with this question. Detecting in using this particular pattern, and that's it, everyone. We are done with the specific session. Thank you so much for being there. But have you reviewed the course yet? If you haven't, first of all, subscribe to our channel. And if you haven't downloaded the app, then hurry up and download the app, because through the app you get more discounts and your learning gets better, as you can directly go to the you can visit the app, and through the app you can also buy the courses at a very nominal price as well, right? As the entire courses are visible there, and if you have accumulated coins, those can be used for this. Chaliye. Now, first of all, let me show you our website, that is www.adda247.com. Now, when we look at the website there, how do we look at the website, everyone? Now look at this specific area. Just go on to our website. As soon as you go on to our website, go on to the area of courses, or you can actually download it in this area. If you scroll down a bit, you will find after banking we have JIB and CIB, and this is where CIB June 2024 is given. You can take up any of the courses, everyone. Use the code Y541 to get the particular batches. Victory CIB batch for June 2024. English is starting from 13th. It has just started from 13th of February. Just a week has just passed. So I believe if you're looking forward towards the classes, then kindly check it out on our website or on our app as early as possible. Right? So let's look at this. This is the end of the session. Please share the session among your peers and also go ahead and like the session as well. And if you haven't downloaded the app, then hurry up. It's way better that you download the app and get yourself open up to the different ventures that you can get from these courses. Okay? Chaliye. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.